it's time for a breakdown.
Basic breakdown of the Landon Sea CaLinDar. We know it gets confusing when you start to consider 13 moon cycles equals roughly 383.5 days. So how could we have a 13-month calendar and be accurate? Landon struggled to understand this concept from the beginning himself, but came up with these two creative perspectives to explain his calendar, making it easier to understand universally. The moon cycle. It actually takes the moon 28 days to complete one full orbit around the Earth. However, while standing on the Earth, it rotates, so our view of the moon is altered just enough that it takes an additional 1.5 days for us to be able to see the moon again. This is why, from our perspective, the moon cycle is 29.5 days. But in actuality, the moon completed an orbit at 28 days. Knowing this small fact actually changes time accounting, because by the time the Earth completes its own 365.25-day orbit around the Sun, the moon has quite literally completed 13 full orbits around the Earth. It's not questionable, it's just time. One Earth orbit equals 13 moon orbits. So how can we make a calendar that acknowledges this fact from what we perceive down here on the Earth? And how can we have a month without a full moon or years without 13 full moon cycles and be accurate? Landon came up with these simple solutions and impressive answers. The 1.5 days of traveling time, the dark days, do add up to 18 days. So 18 days of our year are wasted or divided up between the 12 full moon cycles that we can see a full moon. This is actually perfect, and why we can escape this problem and accurately account for our 13th month. It is true, we can't just pick any day of the year and add 365 days and have 13 moons show up every time. However, with no disrespect to Moses, if we start our time accounting from a full moon and go forward, we will always have 13 full moons every year and never miss one. If we look closely at all our past calendars, you'll see we already have. A year is simple to account from any day, like May 5th to May 4th is a year. Now look at every January from the past calendars and you'll see the 13th full moon always happens before the day in January which completed the period of a year. Like in 2024 when January started with the first full moon on the 25th. The 13th full moon happens on January 13th in 2025, 12 days before the next January 25 happened. This happens every year. The 13th full moon will always occur 11 or 12 days before a year completes. Just like we would only need 30 days to be able to see 2 full moons, but not every 30-day period has them. However, if we start correctly, it always will be consistent because of the mathematics of the extra 1.5 days traveling time each month, plus the 11 extra days we have in our solar year. Since the 18 days of traveling time plus 11 days left over in a year equals 29 days, there is your added missing month. Leap years are already accounted for and perfect as is. So what are you waiting for? Go be the first in your community to start designing your 13-month solar lunar accurate calendar today.